Okay. Hello everybody. Nice being here. Nice to see you again. We are here at FUT Buddies, episode 4. We saw you really liked the last part, the last episode, and we said to make another show right before the New Year's Eve or on New Year's Eve, depends on where we're gonna post this. So, how are you, Jake? And let's get going.
I'm doing great today, Florian. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy holidays to all you guys. Hope that you're ending the year off well. Don't go too hard tonight if you're at a party. Have some fun, but stay safe out there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay safe at all, but okay, nice. Thanks for. I believe I'm gonna go at this party where it's like all you can drink policy.
That sounds safe.
So
That sounds good. Yep. Thanks for listening, Florian.
yeah,
Good start.
yeah. I said to start the year in a proper way.
Perfect.
So guys, don't forget if you're listening to this or watch this, you can find us on YouTube on Jake's channel, Jake Fat Trading. You can find Fat Buddies on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And yeah, if you're watching, you can watch us on YouTube where Jake is also sharing his screen while we talk. Today we're gonna talk about what was new this week, um, some trading lessons, and also what will be next week, and the so big news with team of the year. So what is new this week? We have current team of the week. What do you think about it, and is there something we need to do about these players, Jake?
So this team of the week was really good. There were some players that got in that were definitely unexpected, I would say, which led us to believe there was a team of the week SBC coming. When EA forces some players that are kind of borderline in or pushes players in that normally wouldn't get it, it's kind of suspect. So, with Werner getting in, and I'm not saying these are undeserved, but there definitely were pushes or they weren't seen often in predictions. So Werner, Allen, I didn't see. So they basically stack this team of the week really heavily. So we expected a team of the week SBC to come. You can always invest in 82 to 84s for those SBCs. Sometimes 83s are the cheapest solutions, or sometimes it's a mix of 82s and 84s. So all those rise pretty well. It requires low chemistry, so even goalies do good there. Investment wise, if the market wasn't in such a downtrend, this team of the week really looks really good. But I can tell by what's happening today that people are just really scared to buy because usually team of the week cards drop heavily during squad battle rewards and during the Monday morning when Europe wakes up and lists their cards. And then sometimes they start to recover throughout the day pretty well. But I'm not seeing that today. So basically, I'll pull up the hourly here on Allen, for example. Basically, at this morning, he reached a low of around 94K, 93K, and he stayed that price all day. So that tells me no one's buying. So he might be a good look going into Thursday, closer to that date, but no one's buying pre-Thursday this week. I think people don't have a lot of coins, and people are seeing these meta cards like Mbappe, Neymar, Messi drop in price heavily, and it's really deterring them from buying anything.
Yeah, what I so when I saw this team of the week, I was also surprised that you said also Mendy from City was a surprise for me being there, and there were two aspects of it. So first of all, it was a very stacked team of the week.
Yep.
Well, you said it yourself. We would expect a team of the week SBC, and it came. And also there are some players here who let's say made a little bit angry the owners of some cards. For example, Gnabry Player of the Month owners,
Yep.
Werner Player of the Month owners, Allen Road to the Final owners, Neymar. Let's say Neymar was kind of a little bit expected. Ben Yedder was a little bit expected, so but he also held a good price. So yeah, it was, let's say, a split feeling about this team of the week.
Yeah, I agree, and it would be totally investable if we thought the market was going to rise. But people are just so scared of crashes this year, and EA is doing really good at keeping the market low with their SBCs and their coin suck SBCs. which I think we should hop into next, huh? How about with what's new this week and the return of some of these SBCs?
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you think about those? I was quite surprised to see some SBCs which were, let's say, they were not great at the beginning. They were quite expensive, 200, 300k priced SBCs. They came back as re-released SBCs during the end of the year, like a gift from EA. And one way people are saying these SBCs are for people who bought the game on Black Friday or maybe during Christmas, so they can also um, have this available for them. But there are some people who paid a lot of coins for these players and are not very happy.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to start with that. And I'd like to start with the positive because I don't think anyone's really talking about it. I can understand the frustration behind it from players who especially completed these SBCs at a much higher value. I think Schweinsteiger came out around 275k, I want to say, off the top of my head.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and now he came down to 60k. I mean, that's kind of in that short duration for anyone who completed him at that full price. It feels kind of silly. It's kind of a mockery a little bit to them who have that much coins just wasted now. That's an extra 200k. So I understand that, but I think what's hard from EA's standpoint is they've done this in the past. They've re-released SBCs before. That's not even new. But at the end of the year, if they were to re-release them, these cards would be outdated. You know, no one's going to use an 83 rated Scream Chong in March or April. So people would complain even if they re-released them at that point because they'd say no one wants to watch Promes, or he didn't get upgraded by then, or Scream Chong, who's going to use him? Why is he even being released? They'd laugh at it then too.
Yeah.
At least now they're paced accordingly. But yeah, I think that's the problem is when they release them this close together, people are frustrated that paid full price and there's no new content. They're not coupling it really with much new content. They basically re-released, 4 SBCs these last few days, which is crazy.
Yeah, I think they found this window where for holidays everybody took their holidays at EA
Yeah.
headquarters and they said, yeah, yeah, but we have a backup. Let's re-release those SBCs.
Yeah, and I
So
think it's fun for the new people or fun, fun if you missed one or you really were excited for him. So I do see that side of things, but I think the people who have been actively playing it is frustrating.
also, in the last days, we got the icon swaps part two, the that expected, let's say, so expected icon swaps, but let's say there was a little bit of disappointment also there. First of all, because there is a split between two periods of time. First period, you need to grind for 6 tokens, and the grinding is quite high. I mean, you need to play, I believe, something like 20 squad battles games, and so on, and some 20 rival wins, and so on. And the icons are not the best. I mean, there are some nice names like Vieira and Ronaldinho and Del Piero, but they are not like prime icons. They are like base icons or lower icons.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I think that they could have buffed a few more and added in a few more gems, in my opinion. Like, there are some people are pretty happy about, from my understanding and what I've asked around with people that are going to grind a lot really want that SCN because he's super high value right now. I know that the time you get him will be closer to March and he'll lose some of this price, but it gets people excited to have Prime SCN. And Del Piero is another one people really like going for as he's a cam or a striker you can use most of the year. People are excited about Campbell and Zambrata. Those are probably the main ones I'm seeing because Zambrata can be an endgame right back for 11 swap tokens, which I think is really reasonable. This is where, again, I am going to actually side a little bit with EA because it's hard to please everyone. Because if we started seeing really stacked icons in here, you'd see them in every single team, right? Like I remember last year, even when we had the icon SBCs, you saw Vieira and Eusebio so much in teams that it was like every single team had them by the end of the year. So I do like this diversity. I've seen a lot of different answers and who people are going for. And it's also about how much you want to grind. You know, not many people are going to get that prime SEN just due to time. So it'll be cool if you got them for free, and that's pretty rewarding. So I'm going to take EA's side a little bit. I think they could have juiced it with a few more options or a few more upgrades. Like Ronaldinho, I would have liked to see as 91 for 21 swaps, for example. But overall, I think that they're doing a good job with these, and it's a really hard balance.
Yeah, so me as a player who did the first icon swap and took Butragueño there, and Butragueño was in the like you needed a lot of tokens for him. You couldn't take like two icons when you took Butragueño. I quite understand people who are grinding these icons because okay, we have this discussion about time spent on trading and time spent on grinding, but there are some people for which it's much easier to grind for icons, and I totally get it.
Yeah, yep, that's my opinion as well. So I think they're doing an okay job, and I'm excited to see where this goes. This is just the first year of it, too. We have to remember that.
Of course. Going further, I was looking here on my, let's say, the show script, and I have here written uh, people waiting for team of the year and the market crash. What do you think about this? And did you expect players like Neymar, Mbappe, and Cristiano to drop 20% in the last 3 days?
Yeah, so market crashes have been really amplified this year, and I think that's just due to people being more knowledgeable on it. Different videos coming out from YouTubers and other audiences where they're advising selling. People being nervous and or excited about things like Team of the Year, where they think they need to get liquid for it to get their new player, or because they think their players are gonna crash. So it creates a lot of undercutting. So, for example, here you said it right. Messi on Saturday was holding around the lower tier, like 1 million price, 1.02, 1.01, 1 million flat. And right now he's 900K. So he's dropped a lot. And I did actually expect this. And the key with crashes is if you're going to sell, you have to beat everyone else. So I advised it on Friday because the market was getting really high after rewards. So I did advise selling on Friday and Saturday just because it looked really high to me. It was going up nicely, and I knew Team of the Year was approaching. So I just said if you plan to be liquid, I would sell your team. And I think that just beat the curve a little bit because once people start seeing it, I saw it on Instagram and other platforms. They're like, "Oh, the market crash is happening now," and they tell people it creates more panic. They continue to sell. And I think it only sees small rebounds going into Thursday, Friday, and then down till Team of the Year still.
Yeah, and for me, my point of view from what I've seen on Twitter, uh, you were quite early with let's say your prediction. And for people who don't know, you have a Patreon where you advise people about what they should do on certain things in trading. But you were, let's say, one of the first to say this somewhere, and I believe compared to other market crashes this year, people like normal casual players weren't expecting it. So weren't expecting it so tough and so fast. It happened very fast, and okay, compared with 3 days ago, it was also a big drop. But I remember I bought Messi on team of the group stage release, and he was 1.3 million coins, and now he's 850 900k. So that's like almost 40% drop or something like this.
Yeah, the markets has had a lot of different crashes this year, and some were expected. Like this one, I did expect, but some weren't even from me. You know, Team of the Group stage brought a lot of supply, a lot of new cards. Their pack weight was really heavy. There was a crash at that point, and to my knowledge, I don't think anyone expected it. Like I didn't see it shouted publicly. It just happened because of what EA did, and it's tough when it's unexpected because everyone gets a sour taste in their mouth about losing coins. You'd rather have people making coins, even if it's all kind of the same, right? Because if we're all making coins, players tend to hold more value and be more expensive or go up in price. But if we're all losing coins, everyone's in the same boat. So the players also get cheaper. You know what I mean? So I had to remind my Discord of that and even Twitter a few times that hey, if you're losing coins right now, so are the majority of players, and now your coins are essentially worth more because players cost less.
That's true, and I also want to add here. I don't know if you want to add something extra to this part of learning about market crashes, but I want to add here a poll which I did earlier today, where I've asked people about how many untradables they have in their starting 11. I played this weekend league. I played all my games this weekend league. I played all my 30 games. I managed to get gold one for the first time in this FIFA, and I played against a lot of teams full with untradable players.
Crazy.
And the poll which I did today showed exactly this. For the answer, how many untradables do you have in your starting 11? 52% are saying they have 5 or more players
Wow,
untradables.
that's crazy.
So that's crazy. And I remember, like, compared to last year, this year we have like almost one free player, let's say free player every week with the objectives. We have icon swaps, and I see at least one icon which is untradable for people because they did also base icon
Yeah.
SBC. They took also icon swaps one. They did at least one SBC for FATMAS. So if you count the untradables, there are quite a lot in people's teams, and there is not a lot of space. There are three or four spots left for people to spend the money on and to invest their coins. And you can see this on the players' prices.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, and it relates heavily to why the market's so much lower this year. Is EA, I think this year has done a better job, excuse me, a better job than ever taking coins off the market because I know tons of people, not even a smaller amount or a decent amount. I know tons of people that have done at least two base icon SBCs. And that was when it first came out and was really, really pricey. So they have a million coins tied up right there. And who knows if either of those cards, or let's say maybe one of those two cards, made it into their team. So they have coins just sitting there that were completely wasted that they can't get anything back from at the moment. Same with FUTMAS. Some people did them for super subs, but super subs get outdated really quickly. Other times they were expensive if they did make your starting 11, like we think of Sissoko and Mendy. I think of as the main two that were really pricey, but probably worth it. So those coins are tied up, and not only that, they probably plan on being in your team for a while. So the players you need to rotate in your team are lesser. You're not buying and selling as much, which I guess is good. But you have a lot of coins tied up, and buying power is less this year.
True, true, and I can't wait to see what will happen for team of the year, and of course for with the prices for the, let's say, meta players like Messi, who probably is the best gold. Messi and Neymar are the best gold players. I believe they are at a very low price compared with meta players last year,
Yeah.
and I believe they will get even lower quite fast in February, March. They will be affordable for a lot of players. So yeah, we'll see that.
Yep, 100%.
Going further, I've made right before we go to what will happen next week, team of the week, and how to prepare for team of the year. I've made I've put a question on Twitter. Tell me the player who always gives you trouble in your opponent teams. And okay, the answers were not a surprise, but I just want to mention like the top results. The first player and the most mentioned one was Ben Yedder, and we know that Ben Yedder is let's say a meta player this year, and a lot of people use him. He has a very rounded card with pace, shooting, passing, and dribbling. With a lot of votes, it was in defense. Pique and Van Dijk, Scream Pique and Van Dijk. A lot of people did Scream Pique, and I've encountered him in a lot of teams. As a goalkeeper, Ter Stegen was their choice, and that's probably, if you can fit Ter Stegen in your team. I said it many times. that's the right goalkeeper to go for. And in midfield, Allen, Sissoko, and De Jong, and you can see them in number of games they have in people's teams, and they are, let's say, for their rating, for 81, 85 rating, they are very used, and yeah, for a lot of teams they are present there.
Agreed. Yeah, this team makes total sense to me. When you sent it to me, I kind of chuckled because it aligns with what we see. I didn't know Via. That one kind of surprised me. I suppose probably most of all of them. Um, and it just relates to trading. I mean, you can use any of these questions and games played. You use that all for your trading knowledge. So, Aguero and Griezmann have done notoriously well every Thursday this year because there's more people, there's more demand than supply. Van Dijk is holding a crazy high value all year because he's a top center back. Yetter, I mean, he's holding 370K during a crash on PS4, which is insane. Ter Stegen,
Insane, yeah.
yeah, Ter Stegen you see in almost every team, and then yeah, these ones haven't held price as much because they're packed so much, but Sissoko has the most games played, and his Footmas SBC was done like crazy. So you can always use knowledge like this regarding trading too, and it just makes sense. So keep an eye on who you're playing, who does well versus you, who you think people want. Think like the people that play Weekend League or that you play.
True, very true, and I hope what I hope following this question, I hope to see even more diverse players in people's teams following beginning of the year.
I hope so too.
Going next, we will have a team of the week full of Premier League, because only Premier League and, I don't know, Super League from Turkey and Scottish League were played these weeks. What can we expect there, or anything we need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I think the two most hype cards from this team of the week will be Adama Traore. He had a really good match rating with a goal and an assist. I think he'll likely get in. He had the most muscular pose where he showed off his guns for people that
And
people love.
and talking about him, I remember his cream card.
Yeah,
It's very expensive even now. It's like 300K, I think.
yeah. I'll
Or
pull it up quickly. I think it was holding around 300 after his good performance because people are hyped about him. Yeah, he's 280 right now, and yeah, I think people are excited about him. So look for link investments for him, like Jimenez from Wolves could do pretty good because he's one of the few strikers that links with them. Kappa as a right back could do well. I think this inform would come out as a right wing, so I think he could do pretty well. And then
yeah,
Trent Alexander-Arnold should also be a shoe-in for Team of the Week. He had a really good
yeah.
performance. He's going to get a nice second in form, so I think that's pretty exciting for people who like him in real life or Red supporters. And I think those are the two main looks that I saw there, and honestly, the two most likely to get in. There are some SBC fodders that could be good investments, like Falcao had 2 goals. So if he goes out of packs as an 83, he would do pretty well. So if you want to take a small risk, you could go for players like that. Or even Tompkins, he's a non-rare from, I believe, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he is used in their SBC, and he's used in SBCs because he provides a strong link, and he has a good chance of getting in. So if you want low-risk investments, start eyeing Team of the Week early, and then invest at them near their bottom price. So if he goes out of packs, he'll do pretty well, probably double in price within the week.
Now, Jake, before we go to let's say questions and comments from people who are watching, or from Twitter or Instagram, one last question from my side regarding Team of the Year. People, let's say, in this market crash, not a lot of people, let's say, listen to us or to other people, and they sold their teams already. They were like panicking, selling their teams, and now they're waiting with coins. Also, in my poll on Twitter, where I asked about untradables, a lot of people are saying, I am playing only with my untradables until Team of the Year. What would you tell to them, and what should they expect? Because I believe a lot of people expect that they can buy a lot of things with their coins on Team of the Year, but I don't know if that will be the case.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it happens almost every year during these huge, large events like Team of the Year and Team of the Season. But pretty much everyone gets liquid, right? You're seeing these prices crash extremely hard because everyone is trying to get liquid. So when Team of the Year comes out, prices are going to be attainable for people, even if they're 2, 3, 4 million coins. People have that sitting around, and if you've been playing FUT all year, it's definitely possible to have that, even as a casual with rewards, some small trading on fodders, kind of going unassigned on things like safe investments as possible. So people will have the coins. It's going to depend a lot on pack weight, of course. I mean, that's a variable EA can flick on or off with the switch of a button. If they want 1% or 5%, that's a drastic difference. Or they'll do
Yeah,
a listing that says less than 1%, and we don't know what that means. That could mean one every million packs or one
yeah.
every thousand. They can get away with that, sadly. So it's hard to predict because we don't know how much they'll be packed, but I do think they'll be pretty darn pricey this year.
Yeah, I think the same. Personally, I now because it's also like this period with holidays, I like playing the game with my team. So I don't really care about team of the year. Probably I will save some packs for that event and will do some SBCs until then, but nothing more than that. Yeah. Let me see. Let me check if we have any questions.
I got
I know
I got the first
you.
one for you.
Okay.
I thought it was a good one because I actually don't think I've heard your answer on this specifically. I'm just going to pull up a few here, but the first
Sure.
one was how did you both get into trading or FIFA? And I'll let you start.
So it's funny because I played FIFA for a long time, like from FIFA 99, from 99. But I've joined, let's say, Ultimate Team quite late in FIFA 17. So for FIFA 17, I didn't know anything. I just made a team which was what with I don't know gold players. I didn't know how chemistry works or other things, so I didn't even know that. But after that, because I joined Twitter, I started to watch some YouTubers. I started following Nick Run the Food Market, and I started seeing that you can get players without spending money, and that was a nice idea. And from that point, I've moved further because from Twitter and from YouTube videos, I started, let's say, learning a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that you brought up a lot of good points there. And one that I would like to give props to is Nick. I think he brought so much light to the trading community. I know he's the biggest in the scene now, and he deserves it. He works really hard and is really trying to help people. And I think he brought a lot of traders onto the platform and helped inspire people to start accounts and things like that. So I think that's awesome. My background is a little bit different. I started playing FIFA in like a FIFA 10 or even earlier at my friend's house. I don't remember because those discs were so old and we didn't have online play. I just played them live.
Yeah.
But I remember my first FIFA ever was FUT 12, and it was super enjoyable. I remember Alexander Pato on that game. I remember a few of those cards that were iconic to me and that I still have good memories, like Nene from PSG. And I remember that my friend's brother had a really good team, and I was like, how is that possible? I'm getting like 500 coins a match, and that's it. Like, I just remember
Yeah.
thinking to myself, like, that's impossible. And I don't know if he had spent money. I don't remember that far back, or I don't even know if I asked him because I didn't maybe even know
Yeah.
about in games. I've never spent a penny on in game purchases in FUT, and I don't think I will. It's not a problem of having the money to do it, of course, at age 26. I hope it's not that case, but it's just that I think trading is fun. I think people like seeing a grind. I think it's fun to play with those lower tier players. That's part of the enjoyment of FUT. So I would never want to skip that over. And I started trading because I wanted to have a good team, and there was no FUT around back then. So you kind of had, and there weren't a lot of traders that I know at least on the internet. So you had to learn on your own, and it was fun because you still use the same trends today. They're just a little bit easier to see with FUT, but if you've been trading a long time, you know how they work without looking at the graphs or without seeing it or without someone telling you why. You kind of learned it on your own. So it was fun.
Actually, I remember something while you were talking. I remember I didn't looked on Twitter. First, my first contact with, let's say, the community,
Yeah.
it was on Reddit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Reddit was pretty big in the scene. I never got into it, but I know a lot of people came from there, which I think is, a really good
Yeah,
platform.
I mean I didn't post things on Reddit or stuff like this, but I remember I've read a lot of content on Reddit, and because I didn't know, for example, chemistry or stuff like this in FUT or SBCs how to do them, and they were there. They were on Reddit. There were a lot of posts about it, and it was a very good platform to learn from it.
Agreed. Another question that I have, and I think this is a really interesting one, and I'll rephrase it a little bit, is what will EA have to do before you guys are done with FIFA? Or what would make us stop playing FIFA is probably another way of phrasing that.
I can start
Yeah.
because I really like football, and I really like to watch the game. So I watch a lot of games. I watch a lot of Premier League. I watch a lot of La Liga, Champions League, and so on. So I believe they have to do a lot of crappy thing, a lot of bad things to the game, even more bad things for me to give up the game. I will not. I mean, I'm a positive person, and I don't really care. I mean, I understand also the business concept behind it, and I kind of understand they need to make money and so on. So at this point, I'm okay with the game. So they would need to do a lot of things to ruin it for my experience.
Yeah, I agree with you, Florian. I think that you kind of alluded to this, but I think everyone feels the same that plays FIFA is that we all love football, or I know you guys hate this or love it, or soccer as we call it in America. Don't yell at me. But basically, I grew up playing, I'm going to call it soccer because that's what we call it here. I grew up playing it. It was
Yeah.
one of my primary two sports, and I loved it. And my friends and I played FIFA after games and tournaments. And, I've played FIFA since I was growing up. And PES, PES, soccer isn't even, or football isn't even close to FIFA. I've played them both. It's a terrible game mechanically. It's not going to cut it. So FIFA has the monopoly of the football game industry, which is good and bad. It's good because they have a high budget and they make a lot of money, but it's bad because they might feel lazy at times or often if some of you think that and know that they have that and they're going to keep making money almost no matter what. So unless someone comes to rival them, I'll keep playing.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I agree with you.
Here's
Any
an
other question over there? Let's take maybe one or two more,
yeah.
and yeah.
Here's another one. What's the worst EA have done to to mess with traders? We'll call it. There is different terminology used, but we'll call it that. What's the worst EA have done to mess up or mess with traders? And I can start with this because I can actually think of something that happened this year that was really poor, and there was almost no reason for it, and they don't ever really do this. So I think earlier this year they released a Team of the Week SBC, and I think they took it down and didn't release it the same day. So that messed with people a lot, and that was unprecedented and not heard of. Usually, if they accidentally posted something or they messed up requirements, they would re release it that day because we saw it, or a lot of users got excited about it. But they took it down, which, it really messes up timing with investments. Or you might get people that thought, like, oh, are they not releasing it anymore? And they start selling stuff off, and they shouldn't do stuff like that, or they should at least have better communication on the topic. So that was a pretty bad one.
So I think I remember three things, and so one is from FIFA 18. In FIFA 18, they released the World Cup mode,
Uh huh. Yeah.
and that was a terrible idea to spend coins from FUT in World Cup mode. It was, I don't know who came up with that, but I know for sure that they even regret it inside the company. Second thing, it was from last year with prime icon moments.
Yeah.
and not only with the release of prime icon moments, but also with taking out prime icon SBCs and a lot of miscommunication regarding that moment. And this year, I think they did something on purpose, and they tried to play us. And it was the release of Player of the Month Vardy. I believe that was
Yeah.
intentional
Yep.
and something they tried to see how the market will react in not in the best way possible.
Yeah, I agree with that fully. That Vardy one's a great point from this year. I was just thinking along the lines of this year, and then the moments was a catastrophe. I don't even know if that was more from a trading standpoint because I don't think traders took huge L's or anything on that. But I just think that was terribly launched. I actually don't even think they had planned to release moments because they didn't talk about it at all. At
Yeah,
the start of the year. It felt like it was something that was forced and used to sell packs when they didn't plan it. And people had thought primes were the best version, so they were getting excited about doing SBCs, but then they came out with a more prime version based off definition. So,
yeah. I remember it was a mess during that period, and I remember I had a bad taste about them during that period, and
agreed.
it wasn't very nice.
Agreed. And I think that's where we should leave off on questions for today. We actually had a lot this week, and we'll continue to end our cast with them because I think it's a good time to connect with you guys.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions and you want to get our answer during the podcast, don't forget to leave a comment on YouTube or just to reply to us on Twitter or on Instagram, and we'll make sure we get it and you will answer to you. Until next time, I guess we wish you a happy new year, a better year for you guys, mostly personally, but also in FIFA. And yeah,
Yeah, happy new year, guys. Thanks for tuning in again and thanks for all the support. The viewers are increasing every episode right now. So Florian and I just love to see it because and I'll be straightforward with you guys. He does a big outline, he sends it to me. I'm really grateful for that. But it takes a lot of time and attention. So I really appreciate you guys' support on not only the channel, but on whatever platform you listening to it.
yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and see you or hear you, let's say, next year.
Bye guys, happy new year.